People are being told to stay away from the crater lake on Mount Ruapehu as the volcano is showing signs it could suddenly erupt. A volcanologist at GNS Science, Stephen Sherbin, says temperature readings at the lake show the surface is colder than it should be at 20 degrees, while a few hundred metres below the water is more than 800 degrees. He says that indicates a build-up of pressure which could suddenly be released.
What we've been doing for a few years is inferring the temperature beneath the crater lake from some gas measurements we've been making on a lake, and that suggests a temperature of about 800 degrees. And when you couple that with the fact that the temperature of the lake is only 20 degrees, and the two should normally be interacting, the lake water would be circulating down below the vent, and you say, well, it can't be interacting, and therefore we've got a sealed, at least partly sealed up system.
But if you're just inferring the temperature, how confident are you that you can really know that it's higher than 800 degrees?
Well, we can't be absolutely sure, but it's a technique one of our chemists has been developing over a few years, and it's based on analogies with geothermal systems that we've worked in. So we're as confident as we can be.
And in the normal course of events, you would expect the crater lake temperature at the surface relates how directly to the temperature at a much greater depth. What would normally be the difference?
The difference would be quite large, but that's 800 beneath the vent. That's the highest this technique has shown in the 5 years it's been used, and yet the lake temperature is only 20, whereas it would often go up to 30 or 40. And this is why we're saying, well, the system looks like it's probably gunged up here, and this is where our concerns from a pressure buildup comes from.
Gunged up by what?
Gunged up probably by molten sulfur or by other minerals that the acid waters of the lake and beneath the lake precipitate. Like you might have envisaged formed the pink and white terraces, that's the kind of material that's possibly gunging up the vent. What's going to form behind that is increased temperatures and increased pressures. And so our concern is if this pressure fails quickly, then we may get an eruption.
How big an eruption, could you say, from the signs that you're seeing at the moment?
No, we can't, but maybe the 2007 kind of thing, which threw rocks a couple of kilometres.
How much warning would you get?
We may get no warning at all. This is one of the things that makes Ruapehu very difficult. If you're in this situation where the system is pressurized, it may just fail, almost instantaneously. This is why Ruapehu has an eruption detection system that the Department of Conservation run. You don't get warning before the eruption, you get warning that there has been an eruption and that you should respond accordingly to get out of areas that are potentially dangerous.
And would there be people in the way of large boulders being flung about by the volcano?
Only if they are in the summit area around the crater lake, and the Department of Conservation earlier today released information where they asked people not to go into that zone.
And that would be for the foreseeable future?
That would be for the foreseeable future, or until we saw either a reduction in this temperature and therefore we infer the pressure beneath the lake, or if the lake temperature starts to come up, so this gunged up zone is not failing instantaneously, but is just failing gradually, and the temperatures are equalizing. It's a watch and wait situation, unfortunately.
That's volcanologist Stephen Sherbin.